Business Made Social. This is the second in our three-part series, and today's is on specifically social media, do's and don'ts. And we're happy to be joined by Miss Lizzie Arbogast from LMG Ad Agency, part of the Lee Marketing Group umbrella of marketing services that they provide. My name is Jacob Meacham with the Alexandria City Chamber, and I'd like to thank you all for coming, as well as our sponsor, A&M Plumbing, for presenting this series. Without them, we wouldn't be able to put on things like this for you guys to hopefully learn a few things and take back to your places of work, share with your team members. We are recording the video today, just as we did the one last week, as well as the one that we're going to do next week with Elle Fuller from TPI. And those will be available resources for you guys to have at your disposal whenever you need them to refer back to, or again, share with your team and hopefully take some of these pointers and put them into practice. So if you haven't already fixed yourself something to eat, feel free to. And without any further ado, Lizzie Arbogast from Lee Marketing Group.
Hi, everybody. How are y'all doing today? Good. Okay, so I am big on when you take a seminar, I want you to have something that you can take back and you can use immediately. You can start doing today.
Okay.
So obviously we all know that Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all these social media platforms are so important to our lives, right? How many of us wake up in the morning and before we even get up and brush our teeth, we grab our phone and we look at our social media, our notifications, right? Anybody do that? Okay, so good. So mainly what we're talking about, what I'm gonna be talking about here is Facebook and Instagram, just because I feel like those are like must-haves. If you're a business, you've gotta have at least those two. And they have generally the same rules across a lot of industries. Obviously, Liz kind of named them all. You know, we also do YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter. I mean, there's all kinds of different marketing tools that you can get on. But the more you have, the better, the more eyes that can be seen. And we've all heard the phrase that social media is a great form of free advertising, right? But like, what does that mean? Obviously, Facebook, everybody's on it. So it's a very competitive market. So how is it gonna advertise a house that you have for sale or a product that you have for sale, things like that. The biggest thing is, you know, how do you stand out? How do you, especially in your market, Lake Martin there's 1 billion realtors around here. How are you gonna stand out on social media versus one of your competitors? And the big thing on that is really knowing what your industry is and knowing what your social media is gonna say about yourself, your business, and your brand. So first you have to know your brand, right? So here are the things that you wanna do and not do when talking about what your social media profile is gonna say about you. So the big first thing is you really wanna decide what your voice is gonna be. And now your voice might vary based on your industry, right? Your voice, if you're the owner of a small boutique, is gonna be much different than your voice would be if you are a real estate agent, if you are a HVAC technician, things like that. So you have to really think about, do I wanna come across very feminine? Am I looking for more of a masculine audience? What is kind of my target audience, and how do I make my voice go, you know, connect with those people? We talked a little bit about this with branding last week, but obviously you want to use your same colors and fonts across all your social media platforms. The reason being for this is you just want people to associate that color with you. I associate selling Lake Martin with that yellow color, right? So you guys want to use that yellow color so people, when they see something, they know, hey, this is for selling Lake Martin. Same with fonts. You just want things to be consistent and on your brand. And you also want to understand how your profile is going to reflect your business. Some people, we talked last week about Wendy's and how they're a bit snarkier on their social media and they can get away with that, but they know how they look and they've accepted how they're going to look. So it's all about understanding how your profile and what you're putting out there is going to, how that's going to reflect your business. As far as your don'ts, you don't want to post off the cuff. Okay, so if you're going to take the time to make a social media post and to put it out there for however many people are going to see it, you know, 10 people could see it or 10 million people could see it. You really want to take the time to make sure that it's on your brand, it's what you want to be putting out there, because you never know what, especially in this day and age, what's going to go viral. And another don't is, I say don't use a different color unless it serves a purpose. So the reason I say that is because obviously you want to stay on brand as much as you can, but if you're trying to announce something or you really want something to stand out, that using something drastically different than your brand, you want it to have an obvious purpose. Does that make sense? Okay, so your 3 most important takeaways that I want you to take away from today are, these are the 3 things that you need to have a good social media page. You need to have good visuals. Obviously, people are creatures of habit. They look at photos before they read text. They have short attention spans. You've got to have a good personality, and you've got to have good interactions. We're going to discuss those 3 things for the most part today. Okay, so good photos make good content, right? Let me show you this group of photos, and let me have you guys, I want you guys to think about how they make you feel. Do they make you want to eat this food? Yeah?
Depends on how hungry I am.
Which photo on here do you feel like really shows off that food really well?
It's a no for me, dog.
And why?
Nothing about it. I don't know. It just makes it look low quality. I don't cheap.
Color's not good.
That's what
That's
my fiance said, the hot dog.
The bottom.
Yeah.
And they're all in like to-go things.
Yeah. It's like, you know, those fried pickles or whatever they are up there are gonna be soggy by the time you get to them.
Those are fried pickles. Okay. So I'm gonna just show you then how you can upgrade your food posting a little. I agree with Jacob that to-go boxes don't make your food look good. Take a little bit of time to put your food on a plate if you're gonna take a picture of it. Here I've got what I call the power of a good edit. So on the left photo is a photo that I took off the internet, I'll just admit it. And it's good, right? It looks like a good burger. But if you take a few extra minutes to brighten your photo, to put some clarity on your photo, to make your colors more vibrant, it looks a little better, right? It took about 3 minutes or so to make those edits, and you can do those right on your phone. So take that little bit of extra time to make your photos really stand out and really pop. In photography, we also, obviously when you take a photo, you want to emotionally connect with it in some level, in some way. So in photographer, we have a rule of wide, medium, and close shots. And in all these photos, hopefully, you connect with them in different ways. So let's talk about the top left photo. What do you think of when you see that photo? The really wide shot.
Like you get more of the community vibe there because you see the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Like what's appropriate to wear to that event, I'm gonna know because I have that content there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, how about the bottom left photo? It's a medium shot. It's all everybody on stage. Any thoughts?
It looks like they're having a good time.
Shows the
If
grade.
you're posting for a business, the bottom one puts all the emphasis on the people on the stage,
Mm-hmm.
not the event itself.
Correct. Absolutely. And then how about this photo on the right?
Yeah, he's too important.
He was passionate about what he's doing, which means the event seems like it was fun and worth going to.
And can you connect with him sort of emotionally in his facial expression and that kind of thing? So absolutely, you brought up a good point, Jeff, that all these photos, I think, because I took them, are decent photos. However, they can all be used for different things. If you are advertising for the band, you would use the whole band photo. If you were advertising this guy doing a solo, you would use that. If you were advertising for the event itself, you might use the top left photo. So it's all about getting different shots of essentially the same thing. I mean, these were all taken within 2 minutes of each other. And so just getting those different angles and those different scene settings will really help. All right, so your next most important takeaway is your personality. Your personality can sell without selling. And I always hear people say that they don't want to put their personal self on their Facebook page. We have a lot of clients that say, well, what does it matter if I have kids? Well, what does it matter if I coach the Little League football team? Well, what does it matter if we gave money to charity? Well, that's what people connect with, right? People connect with personality, they connect with emotion, humor, and inspiration, things that they feel inspired by, okay? So we're gonna go through another set of photos, and I want to get some opinions from you guys again. This is where it stopped before.
There we go.
There we go. Okay, so talk to me about if you were buying a plane ticket, okay, and you saw all 4 of these ads, which airline do you want to fly with?
Top right.
Mm-hmm.
Kidding. Bottom left.
But you might not be kidding though. I mean,
No, but so why did you immediately get drawn to the top
Oh,
left?
The beard.
People, I think that's where she's going. The people are more appealing.
The people are more appealing. That is exactly where I'm going. So I feel like let's compare the top left to the bottom left. Do either one of those bring emotions to you?
The little boy.
And what emotion do you get from him?
Oh,
excitement.
It's an experience.
yeah,
It's an experience. And what emotion do you get from the bottom left?
it's empty.
None.
None. Exactly. That's exactly right. So anytime that you can put a person in a picture, it is almost always going to be more meaningful. Again, there are exceptions to every rule, right? But it is almost always going to be more meaningful than if you don't. All right, talk to me about this one. If you're a female or a male who wants to buy this skirt, I don't judge. Which photo it gives you a better idea of, oh, this skirt is going to fit me, or oh, this skirt might look good on me.
The right.
And which picture makes you want to buy that skirt more?
Right.
And why is that?
Looks better.
She wears it well.
Where's it?
I mean, it's cute.
Mm-hmm. And do you get any emotion from either of those pictures?
Just how it looks on.
Mm-hmm.
The right looks a little like more fun and casual, like
Mhm.
you get ideas what settings to wear it in.
Yeah, how to style it, things like that, for sure. Again, this is one of those. Let's see that object in use. Anytime you can put an object in use, is a really good thing, and that goes for clothes or a product that you're actually using. Anything that you can put somebody putting it to use is a good thing. Okay, so use of humor is huge. So we went in a lot. None of this stuff is from us except for this one video because we thought it was a good example. We went in to do a serious commercial with Mortgage Pro for the radio. And this is what we did for social media instead of the serious.
Mortgage Pro. Mortgage Pro. Yeah. You got to feel it. Yeah, come on. I got to feel it. Some of that charisma.
Mortgage Pro is the place to go. Clear to close. Wait, what's the words?
Mortgage Pro is the place to go. What, you said that wasn't good?
Mortgage Pro is the place to go. Our favorite words are clear to close.
Daggum country.
Mortgage Pro is the place to go. Our favorite words are clear to close. I can't say it. Mortgage Pro is the place to go. You do too?
Mortgage Pro is the place to go. Our favorite words are clear to close.
I don't know if it's gonna autoplay again. Okay, so that's what we use for social media. So tell me what you guys thought of that. Did you connect with it in any way? And why?
Their personalities show up in there.
Now also, did you notice in here they aren't necessarily saying what they're selling? They could be a realtor, they could be an apartment building, they could be all kinds of different things. And like you said, it's just that personality. You connect with them, you say, okay, I wanna know what you're selling because you're funny. Hopefully, is what it shows.
I think too, something that we always try to talk about with our membership are showing the people that, you know, the community connects with.
Mhm.
Whether that's someone that, you know, works at a local business that is also your neighbor or your friend, whomever. It seems to work better.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, you know, I think markets are different. Obviously, your audience is gonna be different. Like a national company uses a celebrity, for instance, because people know them. And so around here, it's kind of the
Yeah.
principle, at least what I've seen is successful.
Yeah, for sure, and we'll talk about this in a little while, but anytime that you can put somebody in your, either in a photo or a video, then you can tag them, and you guys know this community, I mean, we all are super supportive of each other, so then, you know, Eric McKinley's wife might share that, whose friend might share that, and on and on. So the more people that you can get involved definitely help spread that word. Alright, and then, okay, so here we have something super personal versus something that's kind of generic. This is from a pediatric, not the left one I made up really quick. This is an ad, and this is from a letter, a pediatric place in Tuscaloosa, and it says, Dr. Wally, you are the best doctor in the world. Thank you for taking care of me and always making me laugh. I hope you and your family have the best time in Washington. And it's a picture of the doctor and the kid laughing. So which one do we emotionally connect with? A picture of a kid with kind of a generic saying, or something that's super personal?
Personal.
And why?
Well, if you're a parent, you automatically connect to something that a child wrote, because it makes you think of your own children.
Absolutely.
And I mean, I think even if you aren't a parent, you probably still are more touched by that.
Absolutely.
It's a testimonial, like at the core.
Yeah.
So it validates, you know, service and quality or those other important things.
And this is where people have a hard time, quote unquote, bragging about themselves. But this is a way that, like you said, it's sort of, hey, this little kid loves coming to this doctor and he told us all that. But we're not saying something as generic as, our customers are always satisfied kind of thing. Having that really personal touch can be a huge help. Okay, moving on to interaction. So here's this one big reason that interaction is important, because it shows that your customers or your clients or your constituents that you care about them, that you care when they've taken the time to ask you a question or make a comment. The other reason that interaction is so important on an advertising standpoint is the more that you have interaction on your page and the more that your page is interacting back, the higher Facebook is going to bump you in the algorithm, which is essentially, if you don't know, how Facebook determines where you are on people's news feeds. So the more, for instance, comments that you have, say you sell a house and someone says, congratulations, take the time to say, thank you, we appreciate that, or something. Then you have 2 comments instead of 1, and Facebook thinks it's sort of a game, but also to show your customers that you care. So here are 3 important tips for interacting. Answer your messages as soon as possible. We have a rule where we say that we always answer our message within 1 business day. So if they message us at 10 o'clock on a Tuesday morning, we answer them by 5 o'clock that Tuesday. The sooner the better, obviously, especially for retail. If someone messages you and you don't answer for 3 days, probably you've lost that sale. And that probably goes for a lot of businesses, especially competitive ones. Like and respond to your comments as needed. Always take the time to just go through and just click like or love when someone comments on your page, just to show that you saw the comment and you cared about it and you were happy that they read it, and also respond as needed. Answering questions is super important, but also there's times where it's not a direct question, but it still might be a good idea to respond to a comment. And also take the time to answer a question. And be very careful when you answer a question that you have the answer. You don't say something like, oh, let me get back to you, and then you never get back to them. That looks really bad. So if you don't know the answer right away, take that extra 5 minutes, go find out the answer, and then comment back to them. Okay, so we talked a little bit about reviews during last week's session, but I wanted to cover it again, because reviews are so touchy, right? You never quite know what to do with a bad review. You don't necessarily know how to handle a good review, because again, you get into that I don't want to brag about myself situation. So the biggest thing is always remember your voice and your brand. Remember how you want to come across and how your comment or your response will come across. Allie touched on this a little bit, but I wanted to touch on it again because it's so important. Don't delete your negative reviews. I know it's tempting when you have a review that's really bad, you're like, oh, just get rid of that. But it's important for someone else who's had a bad experience who then might be leaving a review or thinking about coming back to your business. And if they see that you've handled a bad experience in a positive way, that can go a long way. And also request reviews from your happy customers. We do it all the time. If someone is really overjoyed about our service, hey, would you mind writing us a review? Hey, would you mind doing a testimonial for us? Those kinds of things. There's no problem with asking that. Worst thing they can do is say no.
Hey Lizzie?
Yeah.
Reviews versus moderating or deleting comments. I know the reviews are kind of a little bit different because there's an actual platform to review on Facebook.
Right.
Versus, the comments section, which can sometimes get a little crazy.
I'm more keen to delete comments than I would.
delete a comment in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I mean, I think
That was rude, delete.
I think it depends. I mean, it depends on what your industry is, but for the most part, for everyone in here, the city might be one of the only. I feel like when you run your own business, it's probably okay to delete a comment, especially if it's something totally irrelevant or something that doesn't even make sense. For instance, I had a recent comment that said, why am I seeing this ad? Kind of thing. Well, because we're paying, people spam ads all the time. So those are ones that we monitor. And I think the city is just in a different boat because obviously you guys have, you can't delete too much. Yeah. And you guys also have that responsibility of showing people how you handle, those negative comments.
You can hide a comment.
And you can hide a comment.
The person don't know it's hidden, but everybody else.
Yeah,
Everybody else sees it.
So I'm glad you brought that up. The difference between hiding a comment and deleting a comment
Yes, you
is
can
the
do.
person can still see it, so they don't know that it's hidden. Versus deleting a comment, it's deleted completely. So there is that option. Hiding a comment, however, doesn't mean their friends can still see it. So in a town like this, it kind of depends on if it's worth it anyway, since so many people are friends with so many other people. Does that answer your question?
It does, I just, wondered if there was a best practice.
Yeah, I think as best as possible. I mean, if it's your business and someone's being like just rude, spamming an ad or just saying something totally off the cuff, I think it's totally fine to delete a comment. Back when I was at the newspaper, obviously we didn't delete comments. Same with the city, you don't delete comments. So it really depends on your industry. Okay, so how do we generate interaction? Not only do you need to be interactive with your customers, but you also want your customers to be interactive with you, and therefore sometimes you have to ask them to be interactive. So one thing that we do a lot is ask for photo submissions. Think about if you're a teacher, for instance, you could ask for pictures of kids on their first day of school. Things like that. Veterans, if you're a big supporter of veterans, ask for people to post a picture of their veteran coming out, their loved one who was a veteran, coming up for Veterans Day. Things like that get people to be involved. Asking questions is also a really important thing. So things as simple as just getting, you've all seen those stupid posts that are like, post the time when you see this, and things like that. That's what they're doing. They're generating interaction, but there's a way to do it that's not so obvious and so fake. Things like if you're a pet store, for instance, you might say, what's your dog's favorite toy? Send us a photo. Or a restaurant. What's the best night of the week for you to go on a date night? The good thing about asking questions, not only are you generating interaction, but you can also then learn from your customers. If they all tell you we want to go on date night on Tuesday, okay, maybe you host a special that Tuesday. Things like that. Awards and accomplishments. Always give your employees a pat on the back. If they do something outside of work, if they do something inside of work, that's important. I know like the fire department does a great job with the retirees and congratulating them on their 40 years of service and things like that. If they got a certificate outside of work that's related to something within your industry, that's a good thing. Even if it's not, again, go back to personality. If it's your kid won the homecoming queen or something like that, you might post a picture of you and your kid as the homecoming queen. it really shows that you're involved with the community. It can show that, you know, you're patting your employees on the back, that you are family, things like that. And then giveaways. Obviously, everyone loves free stuff, right? So, always a good way. So now we're gonna get to what you guys can really do immediately, which is something that I wanted you guys to have. So how can you grow your page without spending a fortune, right? Everybody knows that if you spend money on Facebook, you're gonna be more successful, but it doesn't mean that you have to. So these are things that you can do right away to grow your page. You can host a like and share contest, which is as simple as like this post, comment on it, share our page, and we're gonna pick a winner and give them something. Just a straight giveaway is also a good way to grow your page. Do you have a question? You look like you had a question.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. Do invite your friends to like your page. If any of you guys are friends with me on Facebook, I apologize for always sending you invites every day of your life. But if you ever invite me to like your page, I will 100%. I do it for everybody since I send so many out. But don't be afraid to kind of take advantage of your friends a little bit, and especially if there's somebody that would be interested in liking your business, buying a house, buying a product, things like that. And also, if you can get your employees to share your content, that is huge. You know, if you have an event coming up in the city, get everybody in the city to, not in the city, but in the city government to share that event. That is just going to get so many more views on your event, your product, your page, whatever you're looking for. I mentioned this before, but don't forget to tag other pages and people whenever possible. Anytime that we are posting about a brand or something like that, like Gap, say someone has Gap clothing, we would tag Gap in it. You never know, they might share it. It might go viral. You don't know. Don't be inconsistent with posting. This is always a question. How much do you post? How much is too much? How much is too little? Again, that depends on the industry. I think someone like a boutique or a retail store, a restaurant can get away with posting a lot more than somebody who is selling something out of the service industry. I think if you're posting at least once every other day to get yourself started, that's probably a good, we try to get to once a day if you can, just so people can see that you're constantly active. But that can be difficult to start. And also, don't post the same thing as your competitors. Look at what your competitors are doing and look at how you can stand out. A great tip that I always use is find a way to add some expertise. So 10 facts about the housing market right now, or what's the process behind buying a house, and kind of give someone that extra expertise that they aren't getting somewhere else, that they can come, they can trust you, and they know that you are an authority on the situation. Okay, so, and never forget that it's the details that matter when you're on social media. People love when you make mistakes. So if you forget a period, you can know that somebody's gonna be out there ready to post about it. If you spell a word wrong, somebody will catch you on it and have bad grammar. It's silly, but that is gonna happen. So what details should you look for in your posts on social media? Simple things, proper grammar and spelling. So easy, but it can make a big difference. Use emojis when you can. Emojis sort of break up color. They add some color, they add some emotion, something that people can connect to that aren't just words. People have the shortest attention span these days, so anything that you can do to kind of break that up will make a big difference. Also use words that stand out. If you can find a word versus saying something like, we're happy this is coming versus we're so excited this is coming. Think about like just little phrases, little words that you can replace that will really make your post stand out, get people excited about whatever it is you're trying to sell them. Don't forget to include a call to action. So whether it's an event that you want people to come to, or a video that you want them to watch, or a house that you want them to sell, how do they get to you? Do you want them to visit your website? Do you want them to call you on the phone? Do you want them to come to your event? What do you want out of them? They need to know. So make sure that you're doing that. Also, don't use repetitive wording. There is nothing worse than seeing the same post over and over and over and over and over on the same page with the same words. So as much as you can, like for an event, for instance, you might post a couple of times leading up to that event, which is totally appropriate, that makes sense, but don't use the same words every single time. Try to just change it up just a little bit, just so people who've already seen it, you know, aren't like, oh, well, you already posted that, that's uninteresting. And don't post incorrect information. And I know that this seems basic, but things like your phone number, your address, your website, and your hours of operation are so key. There's nothing worse than someone saying, visit my website, and it doesn't work. Or, we're open 10 to 4, and you're really not. Or, you know, this is the phone number, but it doesn't work. Things like that. And I always recommend just go through maybe once a month and see if there's a holiday coming up that you need to change your hours for. Or, you know, you've gotten a new phone number, or you've moved locations. Just really think about those little details. And then the last thing that I'm gonna cover with you guys are some tools that you can use today, starting today, and they're all free. So these are Adobe Spark, Canva, and Adobe Lightroom. It's actually only for iPhones and iPads, so if you aren't an iPhone or iPad user, you should be. Adobe Spark is great for videos, and Canva is great for graphics. And what's great about these two programs is you do not have to be an expert to use them. They basically say, insert picture here, insert words here, and we will make it look pretty. You can change your colors, you can change your fonts. I mean, it's made for anybody to use. Lightroom, Adobe Lightroom. Remember when I told you guys that it was really important to edit your photos? Lightroom will allow you to edit a whole bunch of photos at one time. So for instance, in my world, I'll go to a client and I'll take 45 photos at one time. And obviously I don't want to sit through and edit 45 photos. So I can edit one photo, and Lightroom will copy those edits onto every single photo in seconds. It's really, really convenient. And it does have a desktop app also, but you have to pay for it. And Facebook and Instagram Creator Studio, this is my lifeline, this is my lifeblood to schedule out everything. So on here I've got an example of a Monday morning meeting at Lee Apparel. Obviously I am posted on Monday morning, so, and I need to post it on Monday morning because it's a Monday morning meeting, it's like a thing that they do, right? So the Creator Studio will allow you to go in and schedule it for later. It's a completely free tool that Facebook offers. It's super easy to use. Instagram has one as well, and you can also connect your Instagram and Facebooks together so that they have the same content if you want to. The good thing is about Facebook Creator Studio is you can schedule up to 3 months out. So if you can take an hour a week to go ahead and schedule everything for the week, you don't have to worry about it, you don't have to think about it, it's all done for you. So these 4 tools, Adobe Spark, Canva, Lightroom, Creator Studio, lifesavers. That's all I got. Any questions?
Is the Creator Studio, is that a separate app, like it's Facebook?
There is an app for it. I use it on desktop because it's a lot easier to use on desktop, but there is an app for it. And like I said, you can connect your Instagram and your Facebook, so it'll be exactly the same, and you don't have to do it twice, or you can do either which way. Any other questions, thoughts, comments, concerns?
I want to say something about what I see a good bit in people using Facebook and Instagram together. And that's how they'll post something on Instagram and share to Facebook, but you know, the tags don't show up on Facebook like they do on Instagram. If you're trying to highlight or promote a business and you're tagging their handle on Instagram, their @name. You share to Facebook, it's gonna go on to Facebook, but it's not going to tag their business like it would on Instagram. So the integration, while like in advertising and a lot of the shared resources that they provide is like seamless, in some ways it's still totally separate. So you kind of get trapped into using them thinking you can just post once and it applies to both platforms, when you really have to kind of treat them separately.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So if you are gonna connect them, what I do is, basically I'll write the post for Instagram, and then I'll actually copy and paste it into Facebook and tag things correctly. rather than scheduling them at the exact same time, because I agree with that. And you have to watch out too, that you don't double post, because sometimes it does that when it's automated. It ends up double posting it, and that doesn't look so good. But yeah, that's a good point.
And if I could, share a tip here, so Creator Studio was first, and then there's also Business Suite. And inside of Business Suite, you are able to edit per platform. So you type it in, and it'll look pretty much like this, except you'll see the option to edit for Instagram.
Yeah.
So that way you can adjust the tags, you can maybe remove the hashtags you're using, take out the spacing, remove the link for Instagram, things like that.
That's a good point.
You'll be able to do that in Business Suite, which is the companion to Creator Studio.
It's a little bit more challenging to use, but it's not, this is super user friendly. And Business Suite is just a little bit less user friendly, but I'm glad Elle said that too. Links, you guys probably know this, but links you can't click on in Instagram posts. So we don't post a link in an Instagram post. If you want to post that link, do the click here in our bio, click the link in our bio.
What about stories with Facebook and Instagram? I find myself viewing those a lot more frequently than stuff in the news feed.
Yeah, I think the consumer is trending more toward stories, reels, TikTok videos, and things like that. So a story is essentially, when you're on Facebook and you see at the top and you can scroll through everybody kind of all at once. The only issue with those in a hard sell sense, like I totally recommend using stories in a very personal way. Show what you guys are out doing in the city. Show an employee working, show a utility person, you guys show someone who is looking at a house, that kind of thing. The only problem with those is they disappear, right? So if you're trying to do a hard sell, I tend to stay away from a story. But a story or a reel or even a TikTok, if you're going there, really adds that personality. And the younger people, if your target audience is a younger target audience, you're gonna wanna take advantage of those tools for sure. Anything else? Okay, well good, I hope you guys learned all about social media. Make sure to come back next week for digital marketing.
Thank y'all for coming. If anybody wants to take any extra food back to your business, or anybody, feel free to grab some to go.
No website is better than that. Extremely important. Yeah, even the all those things are very, very important. So I'm excited. I'm just gonna brain next
The
week.
reason I'm asking is,
All these things, but hopefully they all go hand in hand. Websites is important. It's hard to grow in the beginning, and I even see that a lot of people are so for instance, you start to look at if I'm watching them, I'm like, oh, I can add that. Or even if I see it on my team, but
Get back to work.
Last week, she told me that's on my to-do list for 2022. So
It's new. Are they good?
It's a new thing you're doing.